In this presentation, I will discuss key concepts of Marxism in terms of capitalism, commodification, and alienation. I will then, in the idea of said Marxist concepts, apply their content to recreational photography that is mainly social, such as event and wedding photography, and also to recreational landscape photography. I will introduce each step of capitalism in terms of Marx and how capitalism can lead to a sense of alienation or estrangement of who one truly is in society and how that inhibits one from living as a free individual driven by one's essence. I will then demonstrate how recreational landscape photography can free oneself from a capitalist mindset within society, whereas social types of photography, such as event, wedding, or even commercial photography, for instance, can draw someone towards capitalism as defined by Marx. According to Marx, human history begins with the desire for food and shelter. In a capitalist society, however, individuals do not produce their own food nor build their own shelter. Therefore, there's a so-called division of labor in society. Division of labor refers to the creation of material in society in which different people produce different economic goods such as food, shelter, and clothing. In classic Marxism, the material, economic world is the base, and the rest of the world is the so-called superstructure produced by that base. The base is economics, the means of production. This base therefore creates everything that individuals in society, which is centered by economics, require and desire. The superstructure refers to everything including art, literature, politics, music, and pop culture. Therefore, the superstructure and the base influence and shape each other not only in economy, but also in society. Marx saw the world as a class of workers who produce goods and sell their labor to another class, the capitalists. The capitalists exploited the class of workers for their creation of goods, resulting in the capitalists owning capital. To Marx, capital isn't merely money. Capital is money one reinvests in order to make a profit. For instance, purchasing an item for $20, which a worker has created, then reselling this item in order to make more money off of it, is an example for creating capital. Prior to capitalism, for instance, in a feudal society, workers used the objects they themselves produced. Therefore, these objects have what Marx called a use value. Today, workers produce goods, commodities in Marx terms, which is raw material that can be owned and disposed, and sell these goods to a specific market. Thus, instead of creating a use value, said goods now have an exchange value. With this concept, exchange value now has its own power in the economy, because now commodities have the power to enhance desire of said goods, which ultimately leads to commodity fetishism, the desire to have more and more objects one does not truly need. In the same sense of commodity fetishism, workers can become commodified by capitalists. Workers that range from individuals working on a construction site to teachers and even software engineers are all commodities. Each and every one of these workers can simply be replaced by one just like him or her. Therefore, if there is enough availability and offerings of said commodified workers, which for software engineers, teachers, and many other jobs in society is establishments of higher education, then said workers themselves can become commodified and therefore exchanged by someone just like him or her in terms of labor. Therefore, valuing things such as working large amounts of overtime on a salary job does not make said individual an irreplaceable importance to his or her employer or the company, but instead a commodity just like everyone else, with the exception that the worker who works more simply works more. Marx argued that workers are subject to alienation of labor. Alienation of labor refers to the process in which a worker does not create an entire product from beginning to end and therefore can't truly identify with his or her work. In earlier times, such as feudal times, workers would make their own items, such as clothes. Even workers who would sell their goods, such as shoemakers and blacksmiths, would see the process of their product that they've been working on from beginning to end. Factory workers, on the other hand, only work on a small part of a product without seeing the process of making said product from beginning to end. This results in the factory worker becoming alienated from his or her labor. Individuals oftentimes want to replace human desires they truly possess, such as playing an instrument, gathering knowledge, or perhaps even creating photographs, and replace these with desires such as wanting new shoes, a new car, working hard, or going out and partying. This leads to individuals alienating themselves further from who they are as individuals, which ultimately leads to alienation of oneself. Plato believed in an essence, a higher area of existence, which can be accessed only by using one's intellect in order to go beyond one's perception.